Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the channel. My name is Kelsey, and today we are back with another pick a card reading, and we are looking at messages from our Atlantean ancestors. So coming into this reading, kind of the intention that I set here is to bring forth messages from the part of us that originates from Atlantis, okay? And these messages are meant to be kind of soul medicine. So on the screen in front of you here, we have 3 different images to choose from, and I'm going to ask you guys to take a deep breath, ground yourself, connect to your intuition, and ask which one of these 3 images is calling to you the most. And once you have decided, I will have the timestamps to the beginning of each reading in the description box below, as well as in the pinned comment. So go ahead, take your time, pause the video if you need to, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to group number 1. Hello, my beautiful group number 1. Those of you that chose the first image, this reading is for you. And we are looking at messages for your soul, for healing, from your Atlantean ancestors, or from the part of you that originates from Atlantis. So let's go ahead, group number 1, and get into your reading. We're going to start with the tarot and then we'll move into the oracle, okay? So group number 1, what message do we have for you from Atlantis? From our blood connection to Atlantis. For group number 1, please. I'm hearing for group number 1 that we have the ability to alter our bodies on a cellular level. So I do feel for group number 1, there's something here about healing your physical body. Maybe you've been struggling with illness or disease, or just struggling to feel good physically. And there's something here about the way that water can alter your body on a cellular level. So using water to heal your body may be something that's super powerful for you. We have the Hermit. Okay. And with the Hermit here, I'm hearing you have everything you need. You have all of the answers. Everything you need is inside you. And I know that can be quite even discouraging for some people, because it's like, well, I need to know what the answer is. Just because it's inside me doesn't mean I know what it is. And I feel like you're being called to go on a search for yourself. So group number 1, what I mean by that is there is a need to get to know who you are and what you want to do in life, what you want to be, how you want to move forward. And the way that we do that is, by dating ourselves, by giving ourselves permission to try new things, by exploring new territory, by doing the hobbies that we've always been interested in but never allowed ourselves to do, exploring the world through the perception of curiosity. And I feel like group number 1, maybe there's something you've always wanted to do, like go skydiving or bungee jumping, something kind of almost dramatic like that. And I'm hearing that would be a very good thing to do with yourself, for yourself, okay? It's something that you've always wanted to do regardless of what it is. I feel like there's something you've always wanted to do, but you've been waiting for the right time, or waiting for somebody to go with you, or waiting to have the resources or the energy or whatever it is. And now is the time to do those things. And all of these things together are going to bring you a lot of clarity and a lot of enlightenment within yourself. The more you get to know yourself, the more you understand how to pull those answers and that guidance from within yourself and within your cellular structure, from your own DNA, instead of looking for external answers or validation. We also have the Queen of Cups and the Eight of Swords. So there's a lot of holding yourself back here. I see a lot of telling yourself you'll do it when the time's right, or you know, there's always things that have to be prioritized before your own desires or your own wants. And with the Queen of Cups here, the energy that I'm getting is kind of like the energy of the squid or the octopus, and how they're able to conform, how they're able to fit through kind of the smallest places, how they're able, like escape artists. And you need to harness that energy within yourself to escape the grip of your own mind and your own perception and your own limiting beliefs. Group number one, that's the message we're receiving here. Utilize what you have internally. You're almost being asked to like trick yourself into escaping your own limiting beliefs. Okay. Wow. And I feel like a big way for you to do this is by taking yourself out to do things that you've continued to tell yourself you can't do without somebody else, or you know, dating yourself, getting to know yourself, doing the things that you're interested in instead of always doing the things that somebody else is interested in. Interesting. Okay. So group number one, let's go ahead and pull some oracle messages here. So we have the mermaid or merman, mythical memory, and mystical message. There is definitely some sort of like DNA memory within your DNA that is trying to be unlocked. Wow. Okay. There's actually two that want to come out of this deck, so let's take a look. We also have love. Divine love is calling you. So group number one, I know again it may sound cliche, but getting to know yourself is going to allow you to align with the ability to love somebody else. You can only love somebody else as much as you love yourself, because you can only give what you have. And if you don't have that love within yourself, or hold that love within yourself already, then we can't give it away, no matter how much we try, no matter how much we want to. And I feel like there's a message here from Atlantis to work on falling in love with yourself. Like I said, getting to know yourself and remembering who you are. You know, we go through life and we have experiences and we have traumas and we have all of these things that we go through that cause us to bury ourselves, that cause us to lose ourselves. And you're being asked to find your way back home, to find your way back to yourself at the time that you find yourself at this video. So we can't know what home feels like, or what it feels like to feel like we belong somewhere, or what it feels like to feel loved or secure, if we don't allow ourselves to find what those things mean to us. Okay, so we can have the logical understanding of the definition of the word, but if we don't have the emotional understanding of what that feels like, then it kind of feels like we are more of like we're in the audience of our own life, or of our own reality. I hope that makes sense. Let's pull some more cards here. Okay. We have the ripple effect with part of something bigger. Details are taken care of. So Group number one, I feel like, again, this is really solidifying the fact that everything starts with you. Everything starts inside, and then we create from what we have inside. So if we don't know what we have inside, then we don't know how or what we're creating. And if we don't focus on our internal world and building that to be what we want it to be, then we can find ourselves lost or kind of in a lot of chaos. And I feel like group number one, there's something here about almost like creating chaos within your life due to like subconscious patterning, because you feel like you thrive in chaos, or you feel like you're good at navigating chaos. Interesting. So there's this message here to just really pay attention to your surroundings and to your environment, and try to see how you may be creating that energy, or how you may be putting yourselves in those energies, because that's actually how you feel internally, or what's going on internally. And you know, sometimes we have to start from the outside in, and that may be very counterintuitive or counterproductive or go against what many other people say, but sometimes it's easier for us to see ourselves externally. A lot of the times it is. If we can become aware that what we're seeing is ourself, then we can find an environment that's conducive to the internal world that we want to create, and we can begin putting ourselves in that environment. I hope that makes sense. Let's pull another card here. Group number one. We have me talks, repairing the body, mind, and spirit. Me time, detoxing, allowing yourself to see what you need to let go of, allowing yourself to see the parts of yourself that you're holding on to that aren't serving you, allowing yourself to spend the time with yourself to understand yourself, to heal yourself, and to love yourself. Group number one, that's very important for you right now. Okay, so we have one more message here for my beautiful souls that chose pile number one, group number one. We have trust. Okay, so trust that you are able to take control of your own destiny. Trust that you are able to take control of your own happiness. Trust that you are able to make the changes within yourself or within your environment that you need to make to become the person that you want to be and to create the life that you want to create. You do have the power to do that. You just need to trust that you do instead of limiting yourself. Okay, so I feel like group number one, a word for you to write down, to write on your mirror, to put in front of you every day is not only trust, but limitless. Okay, try to become aware of where you're limiting yourself, your beliefs, your energy, where you're telling yourself you can't, and really focusing on overcoming that and believing that you can. Group number one is a very strong message for you. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing for my beautiful group number one. If you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel. Comment down below, let me know if you chose pile number one, and consider subscribing if you feel called to do so. I thank you guys so very much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, my beautiful group number two. Those of you that chose image number two, this reading's for you, and we're looking at messages from our Atlantean ancestors. We are looking at messages for our soul, for healing from the part of us that originates from Atlantis, okay? And I do believe that everybody here has some form of bloodline that is connected to Atlantis. I just want to put that out there. So if there's doubt about whether or not this reading is for you, don't allow that part to stop you from receiving the messages that may be meant for you, okay? So group number 2. We are going to start with your tarot, and then we'll move into your oracle cards after that. So there is an energy here of needing to recharge, needing to reset. So that may be something you guys are currently going through. Maybe you're feeling burnt out, and you're being asked to do something about that, but whatever it is you're being asked to do may be very difficult for you. And I feel like there's okay, so what I'm feeling here is kind of this energy of maybe, for example, we have a job that we work full-time at, okay? We work 40 hours and we're feeling very burnt out from work, and we're being asked to either change our job, our position, or the amount of hours that we work. But maybe previously in your life, when you've got to this point, you just stopped going to work and no called, no showed until you were let go of that job, or you know, you called in, or however that may have been, and like now you're being asked to go about it in a different way and set yourself up in a position that helps you recharge and reset without having to hold on to the guilt or the shame for doing things in a way that no longer resonate with you. So you're being asked to have a conversation or to apply for a different position. I hope that makes sense. Interesting. And that can come through in so many different ways in our life too. So don't trap yourself in the idea of it's just a job that's causing burnout, because we can be burnt out from everything in our life. So let's go ahead, group number 2, and pull some tarot. So I feel like, I guess overall, there's something here about needing to do things in a way that allows you to move forward without the shame or the guilt, and having that conversation or addressing your needs or asking for help may be something that's very difficult for you, group number 2. But really, I feel like that's what it boils down to, is you're being told to ask for help or to address your needs in some way, shape, or form. Group number 2, we have the 4 of Cups. Yeah, there's a lot of dissatisfaction, and I feel like there's just this kind of feeling here of like coming home from work or after a long day, just sitting there on the couch watching TV and not really having the motivation or the energy to get up and do anything, but then maybe getting upset because nothing's getting done or nothing's changing. So it's kind of like you feel like you're caught in this, like between a rock and a hard place, and it's very difficult for us to get out of those positions when we find ourselves there. But I just want to say, like, maybe making a list of all of the things, or of some of the things, not even all of them, because that can be overwhelming and draining in itself, but make a list of 3 things, 3 actions that you could take, 3 steps that you could take to help start building momentum towards this change that you desperately need. And do one thing each day to try to accomplish those things. Okay, and I feel like as the momentum builds and as things start moving, you're going to start feeling more energized, and you're going to start feeling more motivated to continue taking these actions. We also have the Queen of Wands. So with the Queen of Wands here, this really kind of confirms this idea of really needing to not be putting ourselves in a position where we cause ourselves to be living with guilt or shame or self-doubt or lack of confidence. So being very mindful of our actions and how they impact ourselves as well as those around us, right? So we're always taught that, you know, our actions speak louder than words, our actions affect others, but we're never really told that our actions affect ourselves. And I feel like that's something that you're really needing to be mindful of, group number 2, and really be mindful of like the self-sabotage type energy, as well as being very conscious of drama or gossip. Like be very careful not to get caught up in those energies, not to get caught up in those conversations. As well as I feel like some of you guys may fear that other people are talking about you or going to gossip about you or think less of you for addressing these needs or addressing the fact that you need more time for you, or you need time for healing, or you need to work less hours, or whatever it is. And there's something here about needing to separate yourself from that environment or those energies or those people that are kind of fueling that fear right now. We also have justice. Yeah, there's a need for balance. There's a huge need for balance. And I feel like once you start making these changes, once you start addressing your own needs and acknowledging yourself and the way you're feeling and the actions that you can take in kind of a more fulfilling way, things are going to start aligning in a much bigger way. You guys may be closing out some karmic cycles right now, which may also be leaving you feeling quite depleted, right? Because we have to empty our cup before we can fill it back up with something more nourishing or nurturing. Okay, group number 2, let's go ahead and I'm going to pull some oracle cards for you. Group number 2. Wow, we have karma. Life is a mystical mirror. You guys, you're definitely clearing some karmic energies, for sure. There's no doubt in my mind. There's a balancing of the scales here. And I feel like you're feeling most of this energetically. And there's a need, like, I feel like part of this karmic closure is allowing yourself to acknowledge your own needs as you go through this kind of transformation. We also have snake. Shed the past once and for all. Yeah, so you're being asked to do things differently. I feel like you guys have felt this way before, but in order to truly kind of close this cycle, you have to step out of it with a different action than what you've taken previously. So again, being very mindful of not doing anything that's going to cause you to fall back into guilt or into shame or into limiting yourself or suppressing your own needs or, you know, anything like that. There's truly a need to step forward, but in a way that you haven't stepped forward before, in a way that is going to impact you in a positive way instead of leaving you feeling bad about yourself or about the way that you handled something. I hope that makes sense. Let's go ahead and pull another card, group number 2. I feel like you guys may have a tendency to try to kind of be invisible or to fall back into the background, because I keep trying to call this group number 1 and group number 3, and I'm feeling like a big part of that is just because you may have a tendency to try to make yourself invisible. Like, you don't want to be noticed. You don't want to be the center of attention. You don't want people to notice you. And I feel like that kind of falls into that self-esteem and confidence thing as well. And that is kind of playing a role in this karmic closure as well. Like, really, there's something here about needing to embrace yourself, embody yourself, really embracing that Queen of Wands energy, and working on our confidence and our self-esteem, and allowing ourselves to be seen, allowing ourselves to be acknowledged, not only by others, but mainly by ourself. We have the Healing Lagoon, rejuvenate, recovery, time to heal. It's safe to stop, you guys. It is safe to stop. It's safe to slow down. It's safe to replenish yourself, rejuvenate yourself, okay? Prioritize yourself, group number 2. It's safe to stop. You guys may really have a tendency to just kind of work yourself ragged out of this. It feels like maybe ego-driven, like you have to prove that you're capable, or you have to prove that you can. And there's this huge kind of uncomfortableness surrounding asking for help, or admitting that you need help, or that you need rest, because for some reason there's something here about like making it, feeling like it makes you look weak or weaker, or like it's a weakness, and it's not. Group number 2, resting and rejuvenating and healing and giving yourself the time that you need and prioritizing yourself is not a weakness. We have lay of the land with ancestral wisdom. Yeah, I feel like with lay of the land here, it's time to understand your own cycles and your own seasons. We all go through them, and we all go through them a little bit differently, but I'm kind of envisioning this as kind of like a moon cycle where, you know, we have our dark moon and we have our full moon, and we have the in-between stages, and looking at that as your energy levels, looking at that as your ambition, as your motivations, as your manifestations, and really tracking your ups and downs and finding your pattern and finding how to navigate yourself, right? Is something super important coming through here for you. So maybe, you know, tracking your mood, your energy, the actions you take, the ideas you have, all of these things with the moon phases may really help you learn, you know, where your dark moon is, where your full moon is, and when you're building, and when you're releasing, and when you need to rest, and when you're full energy. Let's pull another card here. Group number 2. Okay. We have power. I love that. Yeah, we're talking about restoring your power, taking your power back, but also harnessing your own power, instead of continuously draining your power, right? It's about rejuvenating it, recharging yourself. Group number 2. that's very important as you close this karmic cycle, is to learn how to step forward in a way that gives you the opportunity to rest, to rejuvenate, to recharge. Okay? So this is what I'm seeing for my beautiful group number 2. If you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel and helps to get these messages out to other souls who may need to hear them. And consider subscribing if you feel called to do so you don't miss out when I post future videos like this. I thank you so incredibly much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, my beautiful group number 3. Those of you that chose image number 3, this reading is for you. And we are looking at messages from our Atlantean ancestors for our soul healing. And I do just want to say that the intention for this reading is to connect us to the part of ourselves that kind of originates from Atlantis, okay? So I feel like we all have a small part of ourselves that traces back to Atlantean energies in some way, shape, or form. And that's kind of the energy that I'm tuning into in order to bring these messages to you, okay, group number 3. And I also want to say, coming into your reading, what I kept hearing as I was shuffling your cards is that you guys are my magic makers. That's going to mean different things to different people, but you guys are my magic makers, okay? And I was also seeing and tuning into this idea of like an alcohol ink aura painting channeled message. Interesting. So some of you guys may know what that is. Some of you guys may have no idea, but I feel like this is something that could bring a lot of insight to you guys. I also feel like color magic may be very powerful for you, tuning into the energies of different colors, utilizing the colors to dress with, to use in your practices. Interesting. So that is coming through here for group number 3, but let's go ahead and get into your reading here. I do feel like group number 3, you guys have a very deep sense of wisdom in your soul. Like your soul has a very deep wealth of knowledge, of wisdom, okay? That is something that's coming through here. You guys may resonate with the term old soul. You may feel like you've incarnated in this world or in other worlds multiple times. Like your soul has a lot of experience type energy. You guys may also be kind of guided or protected by the goddess Nyx or Nyx. She's a primordial goddess of darkness, of night. And I'm seeing like the universe and how interesting. So that is coming through here. Maybe if you guys want to know more about her, maybe I'll do a reading on here to bring messages from her. Let me know if that's something that you guys want. But let's go ahead, group number 3, and get into your message here. We're going to start with your tarot, and then we'll move into your oracle messages. For group number 3, please. Tuning into the souls that chose image number 3, what do your Atlantean ancestors want you to know right now? All right, we have the 3 of Cups. You're never alone, is what I'm hearing with that. The Hanged Man. And the 4 of Wands. Wow. So first of all, there is something here about some kind of celebration coming through, whether it be a birthday, a wedding, an anniversary, celebrating like a homecoming or graduation or housewarming party. There's something about that here, which is beautiful. Maybe even expansion of the family in some way, shape, or form. New beginnings. There's something here about new beginnings, and having a solid foundation. But with the Three of Cups, group number 3, something that I'm also seeing here, like I said, I'm hearing you're never alone. I feel like you guys have a lot of guides protecting you, and this may be something that you've experienced for the entirety of your lifetime here. You may have had a lot of experiences, maybe even like a really rough childhood, or just a lot of things that you can't explain in your childhood, like I don't know how I made it through that, or I don't know how I was protected from this, I don't know how I was able to maneuver my way through this without anybody noticing me, or you know, that kind of energy, just always feeling like you made it out of a lot of situations unscathed, when you know that it should have impacted or affected you more than it did, or it may have impacted or affected others around you more than it impacted you. And I feel like this has a lot to do with your guides that are constantly protecting you. With the Hanged Man here, though, I do feel like there's something there's a strong essence of stabilizing, especially in the physical reality. So like buying a home or settling down in some way, shape, or form, putting roots down. And I feel like this maybe intimidates you. Like you may look at putting roots down as a bad thing because you can't leave easily if you need to or if you want to. You guys may be kind of like my traveler souls here. You may really crave exploration and traveling and seeing new places and doing new things, and you may really have a lot of hesitation about buying a home or about staying in one place for too long. And I'm hearing there's a need to look at this differently, group number 3, and kind of come into this understanding that putting roots down isn't a negative thing, and it doesn't make it so that you can't explore. It doesn't make it so that you can't grow or expand. It just gives you a place to always come back to. So group number 3, you guys may also be going through a healing process, kind of deep in your soul even, surrounding the idea of home, of security, of stability and safety. Very root chakra energy coming through here for group number 3. Wanting to be healed, wanting to be acknowledged, and wanting to be kind of stabilized. And I feel like there's some sort of aversion to these energies, and this may be because it's something that you didn't have as a child, or you felt like you didn't need, because when you did have it, maybe it wasn't the best thing for you at that time, or maybe, you know, you experienced bad things when you did have a place that you called home or that you felt was home. As well as for some of you guys, you may really resonate with being like starseeds, or feeling like you don't know how to feel at home in this 3D reality. So group number 3, there's also like this idea of needing to really embrace this idea of being a soul that's having a physical experience, instead of this idea that you are the physical experience. Interesting. But there's a need to kind of embrace this physical experience and maybe look at it from a different perspective. What can your soul gain from this physical experience? What are you here to do? And I feel like meditating on those questions and asking yourself those questions can bring a lot of insight to you. And try to acknowledge, if when you ask yourself this question, you know, sit with it for a minute and try to see like where your logical brain kind of butts in at here and says like that you're wrong, or that it's going to tell you guys all something different, but there's just a need to really tune into where your logical mind butts into your thoughts and tries to tell you that you're wrong, or tell you that you need to stop, or tell you that you're never going to make it, or tell you that what you're doing is a bad thing, or that there's no such thing as security, or there's no such thing as home, there's no such thing as love, or whatever it is for you. I just really feel like you guys maybe really seclude yourself, isolate yourself out of this kind of idea that love or connection or stability, security, safety aren't real. And there's a need to kind of bring healing to that root chakra. Celebrate home, celebrate yourself, celebrate your body, because your body is your soul's home right now in this lifetime, group number 3. So taking better care of your body, drinking water, communicating, networking, hanging out with other people, learning how to kind of really interact and be a part of this reality is something that's super important for you, group number 3. So let's go ahead and pull some more cards here. We're going to move into your oracle cards for group number 3, please. Okay. We have the dolphin with playtime is an important part of your healing. I feel like your inner child really wants to come out here. Group number 3, your inner child is really craving healing. And I feel like that's really where this kind of imbalanced root chakra energy began. So there's a need to go back to the root, right? And begin healing from there. And a big part of your healing is going to be to not take things so seriously, to allow yourself to play, to allow yourself to make mistakes, to allow yourself to fumble, to allow yourself to look at life with curiosity and wonder again. Okay? And the dolphin may come up for you as a sign, a symbol, to remind you to maybe not take things so seriously, to remind you to have fun, group number 3. And that the card number for the dolphin is number 3 as well. And we also have the mermaid, merman, mythical memory, mystical message. Yeah, there's you guys are definitely my magic makers, and there's definitely, like I said in the beginning, you guys have like this deep wealth of knowledge. You guys have like this ability to tap into the Akashic. You have the ability to tap into like cellular memory. You have the ability to tap into maybe past life energies. And doing these things may really help bring you clarity. Okay. And I love how we have 2 dolphins, and then we also have 2 beings here, the mermaid and the merman, and there's something significant about like a partnership here, especially with the 3 of Cups, like celebrating each other, celebrating other people, celebrating your relationships, allowing yourself to embrace the idea of relationships. Maybe even like reparenting yourself, maybe something that's coming through here, so that you're able to connect with other souls. I do feel like, again, I'm seeing a lot of guides, a lot of protection and a lot of guides around you, as well as a sibling. For some of you guys, there is a specific sibling that is part of your soul tribe, that is very connected to you and kind of going through this journey with you, even if it's long distance physically. Some of you guys, there may be something about a romantic relationship for sure coming through here with the 4 of Wands as well. Commitment, learning how to commit to a life with somebody else. Interesting. We also have follow the stream, dedication, trust, future rivers and oceans. Yeah, dedication and trust, commitment, learning how to trust that the future isn't necessarily going to turn out the way that you fear it's going to turn out. Okay, going with the flow, letting go of control, letting go of, again, taking things so incredibly serious. Follow the stream. Follow where life takes you. Follow where your joy takes you. Follow where the fun takes you. Follow where your heart takes you. And allow yourself to plan for the future. That's something that's coming through here for you, group number 3. Allowing yourself to plan for the future instead of avoiding these energies out of this idea that, well, it might not happen anyways, so what's the point in planning? Or what's the point in getting my hopes up? Or what's the point in doing this when I might not want this when the time comes? There's something about that here for you as well. We have the wall with obstacles. Yeah, I feel like you guys may really be kind of struggling with this idea of the future, with this idea of choosing a direction, or even this, I feel like this is almost like divine alignment trying to come in here, and you're trying to be guided in a specific way, but there's resistance to it out of this idea that the future is uncertain, and there may be a fear of the future, like a fear of the future not being what you want it to be, or getting let down, or getting your heart broke. So it's like the only planning for the future that you do is not allowing yourself to interact with anything that may be long term, almost is how this is coming through. Interesting. So there is a need to allow yourself to gain direction, to align, to trust that alignment, and allow yourself to move forward out of this stagnancy, out of this solitude. Moving forward out of this solitude or isolation is something that's super important, group number 3. Okay, so let's pull one final message for you, group number 3. One final message for the souls tuning into group number 3, please. Fulfillment. Allow yourself to enjoy life, group number 3. Allow yourself to experience life and experience happiness and experience connection. There is wisdom in those energies as well. Okay, you guys may have this kind of idea that you guys have this deep wealth of knowledge and of wisdom because of the experiences that you've gone through, and now you're being asked to experience almost the opposite or the polar kind of side of those experiences, and that's going to bring so much more wisdom as well. And I feel like it's going to connect a lot of dots for you, and it's going to bring a lot of happiness and fulfillment and sweetness into your life, right? A lot of completion, a lot of closure to your past, but you have to allow yourself to embrace it, to embrace connection, embrace fulfillment, embrace happiness, embrace play. Okay, we also have wisdom here. There's a depth of wisdom in your soul. Fish travel in schools, they travel together. There's something about that being very significant here, like very significant about traveling in groups. Maybe you guys are coming into alignment with your soul tribe or a soulmate in some way, shape, or form. Again, like I said, some of you guys, there is a sibling that is a part of your soul tribe for sure. Those of you that have siblings. And then the bottom of the deck, we have security. Again, we're back to that root chakra, subconscious energy. And we have the universe up here, like we talked about in the beginning. Nyx, the goddess Nyx, coming through here again. Interesting. So yeah, really focusing on the root chakra and finding home, finding security, finding stability, finding what it means to feel safe enough to connect and commit and trust. Okay, working on those things is really what this message is saying, coming through here for you guys. But this is what I'm seeing for my beautiful group number 3. If you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel and helps to get these messages out to other souls who may need to hear them. Consider subscribing if you feel called to do so. I thank you guys so very much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.